Before roads and borders, in the high desert of the southwest, the Pueblo people built their homes from earth and sun. Along rivers and open valleys, their villages rose in quiet balance with the land. Each morning, families worked together as smoke lifted gently from adobe roofs. Hands worked stone and clay, shaping food, shelter, and purpose. Children learned by watching, walking where ancestors had always walked. The land fed them, and they cared for it in return. Corn grew through patience, water, and shared labor. Inside the villages, laughter moved as street boomed. Elders carried stories older than memory, passing them softly to the young. Beneath the ground, sacred spaces held prayers for rain and balance. Dances and songs tied the people to the sky, the earth, and all living things. When night came, fires glowed and the village breathed as one. They lived not to conquer the land, but to belong to it. And in that belonging, the Pueblo people endured. But the world around them was fast changing. Strangers came with iron crosses and unfamiliar demands. Their towns grew beside Pueblo villages, pressing into ancient readings, and among them lived Matthew, a man of two worlds. The dust of Santa Fe marked his face with years of waiting. For many seasons, he and Elena longed for a child. They prayed to the saints and to the quiet spirit of the earth. And when the child finally came, joy carried a heavy cost. Elena slipped away as the son took his first breath. The boy lived, but she did not. Matthew named him Thomas, for he was his only light. The child became his grief and his reason to endure. The young Thomas grew, bringing life back into a quiet home. For a time, balance had returned. But one evening, the young boy fell ill. His skin burned, his breath grew weak. Matthew lifted him, fear tightening his chest. "Hold on, little bird," he whispered. "We will find help." But Santa Fe had become a place of terror. Smoke and fear had filled the streets. Matthew remembered the months before the chaos. The strangers had taken over the town, imposing their Christian religion. He saw Galileo, a town leader, dragged in chains, flogged by soldiers, all for refusing to embrace the new religion. As the people watched in silence, sacred masks were burned in the open, prayer sticks were destroyed, the old ways were called forbidden. Still, the people endured. But tension grew, and sooner than later, the revolt had begun. Now the streets roared with chaos. Soldiers fled as arrows fell from rooftops. The air smelled of burning houses. Matthew would have to cross many hindrances before he would get to Pueblo, where the local doctor resides. Would he meet the doctor? Would he be welcomed? But his soul jarred, thinking first of saving his son's life. He reached the broken canal crossing. There was no path forward. So he stepped into the water, mud swelling around his legs. Thomas groaned weakly. This cut Matthew deeper than any wound. On the far side, Lucas stood in his path. "Why go towards them?" Lucas asked. "We are reclaiming our land." "My son is dying," Matthew answered. "I need the Pueblo doctor." Lucas looked at the boy, and the fire in him softened. He stepped aside and said, "Go, but hurry, the doctor is that way." He covered Thomas and pushed through. Smoke choked the air. He stumbled, falling hard on the ground. He collapsed into a doorway. He laid Thomas down gently. The boy's breathing was fading. A voice answered from the shadows. "Who is there?" It was the physician. "Please," Matthew begged. "My son is dying." But the doctor hesitated. "I must reach safety," he said. "Let's go this way." And he took him to the corner, opened his bags of tools and herbs. He listened to the boy's chest. He applied a thick healing salve. A scent cut through the smoke. "He burns inside," the doctor said. and he prepared a bitter medicine. Make him drink. Matthew lifted Thomas carefully. The boy swallowed with effort. The doctor walked quickly. A small cut. Outside, chaos raged on. Inside, time slowed. And then the doctor was all gone.
Matthew held on to his son and ran to safety. And he lived happily ever after with young Thomas.